Audible lets you enjoy all your audio entertainment in one app.
That is the truth. Audible offers an incredible selection of audiobooks across every genre.
As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. I just finished the audio title Lightbringer, which is the 6th in a series, and I just love it. It's so detailed, and being able to listen to it really helps me keep up with what's going on.
Try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500.
Watch what crappens. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens?
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker. Joining me shortly is Mr. Ronnie Karam for part 2 of our Real Housewives of Orange County a reunion recap. If you're looking for part 1, it's already on our podcast feed. It's the episode right before this one, so go check that out. Be sure to subscribe. That way you have all the episodes right there in your podcast player. We sure appreciate you listening, and let's just dive right back into this madness.
All right, well, please welcome back to the stage, Taylor Armstrong. Okay, all right, so Taylor's coming soon.
And so they're all sitting there, and Shannon's like,
I have a question. Is this a live cam of the beach, or is this a video? Because if it's live, I would like us to take a moment and see if we can spot David walking on it with some slut. I don't think I see him yet. No.
I would just like to thank you for making the set piece of this entire reunion the place that my life changed forever because of that whore. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks so much.
So Taylor takes a seat, and Heather whispers, she's like, oh my God, she's been shitting on me all over the press and on Watch What Happens Live. But of course, when I say the press, it's the press that she gets. So guess we'll have to look out for the Trader Joe's Fearless Flyer Circular.
All right, well, welcome back. We're joined by former Beverly Hills housewife, now fighting to get eyeshadow on this show, Taylor Armstrong. What is going on with your crazy fucking eyeshadow? What you look insane.
Thanks, Andy. You know, it feels great to be the first crossover because I actually I actually moved here with my parents, and this is just, it feels like home to me. I mean, I remember having my first margarita at 5 years old at Javier's, and that was a special time for me. So it's great to be here. Thanks.
Well, a recent video showed you coming out of a restaurant promoting the hell out of this reunion.
And he's talking about that TMZ thing where she came out saying,
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be a fiery reunion. Heather, better watch out. I know rich friends. I'm from Beverly Hills.
All right. Well, with kids off to college, Heather Dubrow finally had more time to love and nurture her IMDb page. Along the way, she learned the perfect cure for empty nest syndrome is to trade in the nest for a cool $55 million. Jesus.
So now Holy mother of Joseph.
That's a big nest. Wow. Wow. That was my sad crying laugh. Can't believe Heather Dubrow's got more money than me. So now we get the montage of Heather's season, and then Andy's like, I want to start with Terry. He had a stroke. I'm like, whoa, okay, yeah. So Heather tells this whole story about how he had a stroke. At the first, they're like, well, we were at the Ivy. I was like, of course, the stroke story starts at the Ivy.
Yes, I mean, it's just such a Heather way of talking about a medical emergency. She said the Ivy 10 times, by the way. Also, to anybody who's ever been to the Ivy is a very public-facing restaurant. Like, you're sitting on a stage, and as people pass you on the street, they are looking at you, going,
yes. Oh my God, is someone famous in there?
So, of course, this is where they were eating, because he's fucking too.
Yeah.
And then
the Ivy is where I famously crashed a lunch with Ramona, Luann, Alex McCord, and Kelly Ben Simone.
There you go.
Look in the archives for that story.
Yeah. So that's, first of all, that's where this story takes place. And then she's like, and then he had a stroke at the Ivy. I know, the Ivy. Yeah, the Ivy, Andy, the restaurant. Now, the stroke, thankfully, was just as big as a period at the end of his sentence. Now, I don't know what that really means, but it was some kind of blood clot that went to his brain. And then he got very upset and he started yelling at me. And that's how I knew that, you know, he was in danger, because
he didn't even realize
he would
we were
never
at the
have
Ivy.
the nuts to do that.
He didn't even realize we were at
the
the Ivy. But thankfully, this stroke was just a period. For instance, if the sentence were, we were dining at the Ivy, the period there would be the size of the stroke. Do you understand?
And then, of course, it's getting serious. And you're like, oh, my God, poor Terry, these poor people. And then, of course, she continues on as only Heather can. She goes, you know, it's the kind of stroke that Hailey Bieber had. Mm-hmm. Or Kim Zolciak.
Strokes. Stop with Hailey Bieber. Stop with Hailey Bieber. Don't like ruin your Strokes brand right there. Just be like,
just stop. Yeah, exactly. Don't go from Hailey Bieber to Kim Zolciak. I mean, my God, just stick it with Hailey, you know?
yeah.
Look for some Oscar winners who have had it. Like, do better.
Well, the story was also very O.J. Simpson-y. She's like, well, so we were at the Ivy, and then he was belligerent, so he went on a slow speed chase up the 405. And I said, Terry, oh no, you're going to break the internet. Everyone's going to tune in to see television's Terry DeBro racing in a Uber right now.
Yeah, it was crazy. So he gets in the Uber, won't let her in, drives away. Then she has the 360 app, which I don't know what that is, but now I do. I didn't know what it was, which is apparently some app where you can follow your loved ones. So she jumps in her car, I guess, or her Uber, and starts following his Uber around. And he's just yelling about stuff because he's having a fucking stroke. I mean, this whole thing is crazy and terrible. And so, you know, I mean, like, we like making fun of these people. Obviously, we don't want someone to have a stroke.
It's so scary. This story was actually terrifying
crazy.
me. Yeah. I was like, do I have a hole in my heart? So then Tamra was like, she's like, wow, that gets me the chills. No, we were at the Ivy. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you wanted me to get you some chilies.
Dish chef. So the lesson here is listen to your wife, Andy. And you know what? I don't even know why I remembered that. But I did hear that someone who goes through that gets belligerent, and then he's screaming in front of the. I don't know if I mentioned this. We were eating at the Ivy. That's where famous people eat. And he was talking to the side of me. He wasn't even talking to my face. He was saying, "So Reba, what do you think about this?" I was like, "Oh my God."
But we got him to the hospital and I said, please, can we get an IV into this man right now? So Heather's like, okay, well, I'm still in shock. I haven't processed it, but I've scheduled my breakdown for this weekend while we're away. Catch it on Fireside. Heather's breakdown.
It's right after the knitting ladies. Okay.
So Andy's like, well,
I'm glad he's okay. That was an exhaustively long story. Okay, let's take a break.
So we come back and he's asking Taylor what's up with her movie masterpiece.
And she's
which,
like,
by the way, is very condescending, but no one's going to get mad at him.
Oh, I thought the movie was called Masterpiece.
Oh.
What's going on with your movie masterpiece, Taylor?
Well,
we filmed part.
Thank you, Andy, so much. We filmed part of it, and the writers. Well, you know, with the writers' strike, we wouldn't be able to finish it. But like I'm sure it's like you and Spielberg. So then she's like, well, so the role that Heather was actually like was going to play. Well, that ended up going to a really, really big actor. It was the late Raul Julia's nephew.
Unfortunately, his name is also Raul Julia, and that has been causing a lot of problems. So Masterpiece, director Rick Walker, writer Rick Walker, stars. So she's saying that Heather was placed by a very big actress, so that's why I want to see who's in this.
Actor. Well, have you ever heard of Tom Selleck? Well, this is Tom Selleck. It was actually the son of Connie Selleck. So Taylor's like, I can't say who it is. But I can, it's Anthony LaPaglia. I'll just say it right now. It was Anthony LaPaglia. Yeah, I know.
It was not. Are you lying to me? I'm really
I'm like,
trying
of
to
course
find
I am.
out, Ben.
I'm trying to go through every B-list actor I could think of.
Well, it's directed Rick Walker. Okay. And then someone named Cam Gigadenet. No.
Oh, yeah.
Gigadet.
He was in
Stars.
Twilight, yes, and The OC. Huh.
Oh.
Full circle.
Well, he's very cute.
He played Marissa's boyfriend on The OC before she crashed into fiery death.
And then someone named Katie Monroe. No, Lexi Ainsworth plays Katie Monroe. And then Megan Carrasquillo plays Detective Alex Torres. So I don't know. Are those people really famous? I'm not coming across any super famous names.
I think you forgot about Daniel Day-Lewis. Was Marissa Tomei in this cast?
But Andy, it's basically a sequel. Heather had a huge opportunity, but what am I gonna do? I'm just a little actress, okay?
Well, and then she's like, well, Eric Roberts actually did the first film in the series. So
well, that's all you needed to say. Why didn't you just open with that? I used to go to the same gym. Have I told you this? When I first moved to LA, I went to the same gym as Eric Roberts. It was that boxing gym on
on La Brea.
La Brea. I've told you this, right?
No, when you said boxing gym, it was the La Brea one. That's all.
Yeah, and I just lived close to there, so I didn't know the city, so I was like, I'll just go there. So I went there, and it was gross. And he went there every day, and he would go into the not steam room, but sauna, and naked, just completely naked, no towel or anything, and just sit there naked and yell at people. Like there were so many stories of him just losing his shit, chasing people out of there, calling them names, and screaming at them. And they were finally, I think they had to like kick him out of there, but they're like, but it's Eric Roberts. I was like, well, who cares? They're like, this is Hollywood, babe. Like, you can't just kick out Eric Roberts. I was like, Julia did.
Do you think he has a membership now, a gym membership to Lucille Roberts? Or is he the reason why it became women only? So, God, I love a Roberts pun. So anyway, so basically they're saying that like Taylor's has a really big actor who's attached now. So Heather's like, oh, so it was a male role? Is that what you're saying? It was a male role? Okay, all right, I get it. So then, hey, Travis from Kelsey says, I totally agree with you. It was condescending when Heather said, you're so cute. Why do you think Heather is unaware of how she speaks to people? I'm like, you do know Heather's an actress, right? I think it's sort of just part of the occupation, maybe? I don't know.
No, it's just how Heather is. She speaks like that to everybody. Oh my God, constantly. And Taylor's like, well, that's just how Heather talks, I think. But, it just felt dismissive to me. And so I sent her the set pictures so that she could take me seriously. And then I was like, hey, Heather, it's going to film in Oklahoma. And then Heather was like, where's Oklahoma?
And do they have electricity? So Gina's like,
I mean, come on, that's funny. First of all, like, really, you're that humorless. Everyone on the stage is like, oh, where's Oklahoma?
I know. Well, and then Gina suddenly Gina's actually on Heather's side. I think she actually was sort of saw like the audience reaction. So she's like,
she's up her ass in this whole thing.
So she's like, well, you know why? Because Shannon's against Heather. So Gina can't be on Shannon's side against Heather. So Gina has to be on Heather's side to be against Shannon.
So Heather's like, I'm very bad with directions. Oh yeah, geography's not a thing. It's not like, where's Oklahoma? Ew. It's like, where's Oklahoma? Yeah, she's terrible at maps. Terrible.
Goes, I'm not Magellan. I'm like, I think the reference is lost on this crowd.
What did I sell around a melon? Not Magellan. June goes, yeah, she can't even map quest. And Heather's like, why does everything have to be twisted into such a negative way? But you know what? I do want to say something to you, Taylor, and that is that I apologize. She means it too. Yes, I felt terrible that you felt that way, and I wasn't trying to be condescending. She can't help it. It's just who she is. I said cut, but I wanted that whole thing to be about you because you are the actress in that situation. Did I do that properly? You did great. That was amazing.
I apologize if I sounded condescending. I think you are wonderful. I think you're adorable, and that state, wherever it is in the center of this country, will be so happy to have you. And as I fly over in my plane, I will wave from the skies, and hopefully you will see it.
If there was a state named Sorry,
she would be the president of it right now. That's how much she means it.
So Andy goes, Tamra, you were the one who said Heather has not worked since the 1900s. Why did you fess up when you were confronted? So now Tamra tries to do the double talk, and she's like, first of all, like we were like talking about how great her career was. Like, wasn't it cool? She did 5 things once, and I was like 1900, and we laughed because I said 1900. I'm like, no, you were making fun of that. And by the way, you should be just like, yeah, I was making fun of it because it was funny. That was a genuinely funny thing that Tamra said.
Yeah.
Mean, but funny.
Yeah, and so Heather's like, I think they're all ridiculous. Heather was being a joke. She made a joke about like, where's Oklahoma? Funny. Everyone's all mad. Tamra made a joke like she hasn't worked since the 1900s. Funny. Well, come on, you guys. This is Orange County. You're one of the silliest housewives on here. And I think that's what's kind of making me crazy about this is they're all taking everything so fucking seriously. So Heather's like, could you imagine if I said to you, Tamra, wow, only 9 years at your gym? I mean, it's no equinox.
I mean, even Eric Roberts wouldn't go there. What if I said that?
Even Eric Roberts wouldn't show his dick in that gym.
Tamra goes, well, I'm securing myself. And I'd be like, whatever, bitch. And Heather's
that's
like,
Tamra. That's Tamra. Super secure Tamra.
Super secure. So secure that when someone implies that she might be a liar, she loses her shit. So Heather's like, that's not the point. It would be a shitty thing for me to say.
It would. That's true. That's shitty. That would be. You're right, Heather.
So Andy goes, all right, Gina, well, while you were shoveling shit with Heather, you tried to warn her that Tamra was two-faced. Again, you were digging a shovel into feces while this was happening.
So Gina's like,
well, it's not like I was trying to be vicious to Tamra, okay? Like, we were in the same room. I heard the conversation, so I was just seeing.
And Taylor's like, Heather stood at the bar and we were trying to move through everything. And then Tamra takes her to the bathroom and stir the pot and brings up IMDb again. And I just wish you would have done that in front of me because I should have been there because this was my scene, Tamra.
Yeah, pretty much. And Tamara's like, well, we had the conversation sitting down, and Heather got up and walked away, so I went after her in the bathroom. We continued the conversation. I didn't know I had to invite you too, bitch. So then Taylor's like, well, I mean, when she went to the bathroom, she wasn't furious. Then she came back and she was furious. And then she pointed at me and laughed Oklahoma again. I didn't appreciate that whatsoever.
And you told me, fuck you, and then you called me anti-female, and I'm going to clear that up right now for you, Heather. I work tirelessly for women and children of domestic abuse. And Heather's like, yes, and I think it's great that you do that, Taylor. So don't you ever call me anti-female, because that is bullshit. And Heather's like, okay, Heather.
And she's like, well, then don't put down another woman's career. Be supportive of someone. And Taylor's like, well, I would actually say more than anything that I was actually supporting your acting career by suggesting that you take a role in a lead film that I'm doing with Anthony LaPaglia. Okay, I think that's actually supporting your career.
There is someone from Twilight in that film. So who's supporting your career now is what I'm saying. And so Heather's just shaking her head like, Jesus Christ. And Tamara goes,
yeah. And then in Montana, in the airport, you said, I ran into a producer about now that I used to work with, and I said, get me off this fucking show.
And Heather goes, you're right. I did say that, Tamara. She goes,
yeah. So like, how's it supposed to make us feel like? You're better than us? Like what? Like you're constantly commenting, like the you must wonder it.
She goes, I'm not constantly making comment like that, Tamara. Listen, any actor is going to be mortified that they're on a reality show and would rather be in a movie, you ding dong. What do you think?
If I'd wanted to do something to make myself feel better than you guys, I would merely invite you to go through the 5 gates to get to my house. So then Andy's like, well, do you think that she feels better than you? And Tamara's like, well,
there's like constant comments, and it makes you kind of wonder about it, huh?
So Heather's like, there's no constant comments. And
okay, listen, let me respond. So I run into Diane Ruggiero. She's a producer of my series Regular. Okay, Heather. It's so hard to stay on Heather's side. She's so full of her fucking self. So Andy goes,
which show?
She goes, it's called That's Life. You can check that on my IMDb. I'll wait.
So what happened was, okay, and this has already been stirred up, and you can imagine how upsetting this whole thing is. Me, a wealthy person, spending a week in mud with small people. And so we're in Montana in the airport, and I see Diane Ruggiero, and I'm like, hi, Diane. I bought this airport just now. It was a panic response. It was a lie. I know it was a lie, but I needed to say something to Diane. And then I looked at her, and I thought, is this a sign? Is this a sign from up above? Of course, the sign I was looking at was wealthy people to the left, poor people to the right. And I thought, this is where I need to be right now, right in this place.
I mean, I look around, I'm with these people, they're trashing my career. And Heather goes, Tamara's like,
Oh, so that's your response? That's your response?
and she goes, yeah, well, look, that's why I said it. I didn't mean I didn't want to be off this show or as a diss to you guys. I'm very grateful for this platform. I mean, I came back because of this platform. Whether it's this, whether it's Fireside, whether it's film, whether it's television, whether it's Broadway, whether it's the West End, it's really all the same thing. Content, am I right?
Yeah. Content is content. Content is king. And all I'm saying is I'm very proud to be on this show, and I would be equally proud to be on White Lotus season 3. That's just all I'm saying.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
So then it turns over. So Emily's like, yeah, but you just said don't put down a woman's career. Oh, God. Okay, Emily, let's make another something out of nothing. So when Tamra was talking about me being not a real attorney, did you stick up for me? And Heather's like, no, but I guess I should have. And Tamara's like,
But wait. This is the conversation that I had with Heather that she twisted. Because when I met Emily, she said she was a party planner.
no, when you met Emily, Emily said she was a lawyer and she is a party planner in addition to being a lawyer. We all watch the fucking show, Tamra.
But what I can't stand about this is that Emily is more angry about Heather not defending her or not telling her about it. She's more angry at that than at Tamra for actually saying it. And I can understand why she might be annoyed at Heather. But like, where is this energy for Tamra? And that's what drives me nuts about Emily and Gina.
Because Tamara's slippery. She's just like,
Heather did it because Heather twisted what I said. I would never say that about you.
and Heather goes, but you did say she's not a real lawyer. Also, this is another situation where Tamara is right. And it's proven with video footage that Tamara is right. But she's such an asshole. And she's like, I did not say, because she was still insinuating. This girl's like, she doesn't even practice law. What is she talking about?
Right.
But that's also kind of true, right? Like, Emily is a lawyer, but she's not currently practicing. And guess what? There's no shame in that. Does she have to practice law every fucking day of her life?
Is she not practicing? I thought she was practicing.
I think she's in a non-practicing place. I mean, she's staying home with the kids and not practicing
but she's also
law.
working for the Innocence Project. So
That's true. So she's giving legal advice, but I mean, I don't think she's.
What is Tamra doing?
I'm saying that technically it's true and it's okay. But Tamara's making it sound like Heather said she's not a real lawyer, and Heather didn't say that, and neither did Tamara. Tamara said she's not currently practicing. Now, the insinuation from Tamara was this girl's not even a fucking practicing lawyer, so I don't know why she's acting so high and mighty. In the end, it comes back to Tamara diminishing her career and Heather getting yelled at it by Emily.
Also very funny that like so much of this season is about, Heather was going around talking about other people's business. Like Tamara said something to, like Shannon said something to Heather, and then Heather told other people. So now they're like, that's just so shitty of Heather. And now it's like, hey, Heather, when Tamara said something to you, why didn't you repeat it to me? So it's like, what do you want from her? Do you want her to be discreet? Do you want her to just listen? Or do you want her to gossip? Like, what do you want from her?
Right.
So,
Hey, well, Wheat from Thin says, Heather, you claimed you didn't want to tell anyone about the sale of your home because you were afraid it would get out in the press. But then you say you didn't want to share the news because it sounded like you were bragging. Both. Huh, well, is there someone sitting here who you didn't think would be happy for you? I mean, what is it about an entire second half of a season of all the women hating you that makes you think we wouldn't be happy for you?
Also, Shannon, of all people, who couldn't even walk through that house without being like,
Oh, well, what a lovely home that is not as cute as my home with David was. Okay. So you have air filters that are not
currently made out of diamonds? Or is there gold buried under your house?
I love that when you press the button for the elevator in your house, that you actually can hear the song Right Here Waiting as you wait. Yes, because we actually have Richard Marx in a closet next to the elevator, and he's contractually obligated to sing that song when people press the button.
Diane Ruggiero sent him. So it was a big deal. So she's like, I didn't really think about it in terms of that, but when we did talk about it, you guys were negative. And Tamara's like,
Yeah, but the hard thing about it for us was like reading about it in the press. That was hard for us.
God, you guys are so jealous. Stop. So Heather's like, yeah, I don't know if that's true. So Andy's like,
Well, Jelly Belly from Aren't Just Jelly Beans, but also your castmate says, Heather, are your castmates in fact jelly? Because you're really rich.
and she's like, you know what? I don't subscribe to that word. I will subscribe to the word punitive. Can I use that?
My castmates are very punitive, and we can adjudicate that. I have asked myself what happened this season, and I think I'm just a very self-actualized person, and I really do want to always be a better person, a better human, a better mom, a better opener of the service door so the maids can come in, things like that.
Yeah. All the things. And Shannon goes, oh, God, too much talking. And Heather goes, excuse me. Excuse me. And Shannon's like,
Oh, well, I'm so sorry. I was just saying I've had to go to the bathroom for the longest time, and I am. I'm dying over here. Well, I guess rich people have very good hearing. So,
I think the answer is I don't know. The question was, how does Gina fit all those people in her house, correct? I don't know.
But, I can't cry about it now, Andy, because my breakdown isn't scheduled for 2 days. Am I still going to try and get a laugh from that? Nobody? Is nobody going to recognize the sitcom series regular here?
That's life.
So Emily goes, do you think the reason why you feel isolated is because you feel offended all the time? You literally
are
got
crying.
into a snit because Heather didn't defend you enough when Tamra said you're a non-practicing lawyer, okay? And you had like a 3-episode arc about the word snuffleupagus, okay?
Can I just say, nobody, and there's Tamra in this reunion, nobody has yelled and cried about shit more in this reunion so far than Emily. And Emily is involved in nothing this season. I mean, I know that Emily had a better season than usual, okay? And I'll give her credit for that. She was really fun to watch most of the season. But this is the problem with Emily. She's going on and on, screaming and crying and having a fit. She's involved in fucking nothing. Get your own life, Emily. Jesus Christ.
So Emily is like, I think that's the problem. Maybe if you lightened up and laughed at yourself more, it wouldn't be so harsh all the time. Andy's like, who here thinks that Heather has a sense of humor? And actually, Tamara's like, actually, she shared a dad's batch. And Gina's like, oh my God, she's like the funniest person I ever met in my life. Especially because she hates Shannon. So that's really helpful.
But it's after like a solid minute of nobody answering. Like you hear the lights buzzing. So who here thinks she has a sense of humor? It's like, bzzz. Shannon's just like,
there's an exit sign. There's an exit sign. There's a beach. Blind bitch! Blind bitch!
Well, as far as I remember, I brought the house down as Adelaide in the 1989 Syracuse University production of Guys and Dolls. So I'm pretty funny, I think.
So, yeah, Gina's like,
Oh my God, she's like hilarious. She's like Monique with an apostrophe in it. Like hilarious.
So Taylor's like, yeah, well, one more thing, Heather, about the isolation thing in Tulum. I thought we had moved past stuff in Tulum. And she was, oh, God, yes, we did have a very nice conversation, Taylor. And I wanted you to hear that I'm here for you. She was, yes, and I appreciate you sitting down. That was a very nice conversation. But Taylor, everything you said was punitive. Okay? And it continues on your social media. Punitive media. Insta-punitive.
And I would appreciate, as your co-worker and someone who is a fellow actor, see, there's a joke, to maybe please stop doing that.
Well, I would like you to maybe sit down with me outside of here to tell me where I've done that, because I don't remember doing that.
You can look in your archives.
By the way, her saying as a fellow actor, that was legitimately funny. So now, hey,
when she's truly being condescending, they don't get it. That's what's so funny. Like, they think they're always getting her, but when she's just sticking it to them, they're like,
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for acknowledging women supporting women in acting and such. I'm on strike. So, hey, let's just have a horny wives segment. So here's the montage, like the Andy Cohen mandated, like Housewives are horny segment. And Andy's like, Taylor, you licked nipples twice. Over and under, how many seasons have we seen Tamra's boobs? And they're all like, 12, 13, 11, 7. 7's the answer.
yeah, wow, this show just took a nosedive. I was like, okay, who else is going to fight?
We supersized it for this? We supersized the episode for this? Why do they do this to us?
Yeah, they had a very dead segment because everyone's like, yeah, Tamara's boobs, wow. And he's like,
Okay, well, have you tried Vicky's frog move, anybody? And oh my God, Emily and Shane, they've made sex videos. Let's talk about that. Shannon, do you know what BDSM means?
and they're just like bored and giving nothing. Like, no one wants to even be there. They're all exhausted. They're like, why are we still on this stage? And it doesn't bode well for this show. It was a good season, but they're roughing it through this for sure.
I had no problem. I mean, I really like this reunion. And so Andy is like doing all these questions, but they don't care about this much, I think much of the audience doesn't. But the best part is like, okay, hey, you know what BDSM means? Bondage, discipline, submission, sadism, and masochism. So there we go. Hey, thanks for being here, Taylor. Bye. She's like, wait, what? Oh, I'm done? I'm done? Really? Well, okay. All right, well, I thought I'd have a few more segments to sit through, Andy, but that's okay. I'll just go back to the paparazzi that I've known for 13 years, implying that I'm a famous person.
Well, I just wanted to say bye, Taylor. It was fun seeing your happy ending this season.
And they're like, oh, I get it, because we were talking about sex. And Gina's like,
Yeah, Heather's right. And so funny, too.
We're not talking about Heather right now, Gina.
Okay. All right. But she's great.
So then we go to like commercial. When you come back, we get a disclaimer. The Real Housewives of Orange County reunion was filmed 10 days prior to Shannon Storms Bedore's DUI arrest.
yes, because here we go. We're in the Gina drunk driving segment of the show.
Well, they're basically like, don't be mad at us that we didn't ask any questions about this. We didn't know.
Yeah, pretty much. So then Andy's like,
Well, with a solid relationship, a budding career, and I'm so bored of even reading this cute card because it's a Gina segment. Let's just get through it. Roll the tape.
Yeah. So Andy's like, wow, a lot to unpack there. I don't know how many times I can say it in one reunion episode. Okay, so Jen, what did you think about Gina being mad at you for your infidelity? And Jen's like, well, thank you so much. I was like really shocked. But like, I'm like, how am I a trigger for her? I don't understand. Well, I think it's maybe you just doing yoga in an outdoor space it's like the exact opposite of Gina's house. You know what I'm saying?
and Gina's like,
Well, everyone was talking about it. That's probably what did it.
and Emily is like,
Well, I think that Gina, do you think that not drinking, you finally got to go through all of the emotions about it because you were numb before?
oh yeah.
Thanks for the
Okay, she
thanks for
quit
the cue.
joking 5 minutes ago, Mom. Thanks for jumping in there and standing up for Gina. Gina doesn't have anything to explain. She was cheated on. She doesn't like fucking cheaters. And why are you making me stand up for Gina? And shut up, Emily. None of this is about you.
Well, no, Emily was doing the old,
Remember we said you were going to talk about this point on the reunion? I'm going to help you out here a little bit.
Yeah.
So-
It's like, but let her answer herself. You know, these two are insufferable. They need to break them up.
So Gina starts talking about like Matt, and she says how the domestic violence was an isolated incident, and she's like, she felt like in that moment it was not Matt, but that the cheating was harder for her because I think it probably called into question instincts and trust, and it was just much harder for her to deal with. So hey, Chloe from Colette says, Heather, why did you have such an issue with Gina sharing her issues with Travis? And Heather's like, well, first of all, I haven't had a boyfriend in 30 years because I'm actually in a successful relationship right now. That's life. So let me preface with that. In my day, you didn't talk about your ex with your current. It wasn't a negative against Travis. It's just it was
I don't know. I don't necessarily always trust hobbits. That's all.
And Gina's like,
Oh, yeah, I knew that she meant well, but here's what's going on. This is a new family. It's a new birth for everybody, basically.
and Andy's like, okay, well, already from bored with you, says Shannon, over from draft fees. Sorry, a lot of names here. Says, everyone was respectful when they dressed up as each other, but you were so mean dressing as Gina with bad hair. I was like, have you looked at Shannon? Shannon is
Gina?
Sitting there with the same hair right now.
I know.
Like, why are we acting like it's so crazy? Come on, guys.
I feel like this question should then be retroactively extended to the Charlie Chaplin estate because still traumatized by Lydia. So Shannon is like,
I'm a costume person, and Gina didn't seem to be that upset about it.
So then Andy's like, well, recently you guys both showed up to Watch What Happens live wearing the same skirt, and a social media war erupted. So Gina says actually that it was a joke. Her thing was a joke, which when I read it, it did not read like a joke at all. When she was like, oh my God, like, why do you hit me when I'm down? Like, that was like from the lowest moments of my life. And you're gonna like make it a thing on TV. Like, you're gonna make me a punchline. Thanks, but no thanks.
Well, it started. Okay, that's not how it started, though. It started with Gina saying, glad to see another happy customer shopping at my links. Check out my link to see what Shannon's wearing. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And imitation is spelled wrong. It's spelled IMMATATION. So Shannon, then we see Shannon's thing, and she's like,
I'm not going to take this anymore. Notice no one even noticed you wearing that skirt, and no one cares about your store. And I hope you enjoy my imitation of Gina on tonight's Real Housewives of Orange County.
and she spells imitation wrong. So then Gina replies with,
Remember, there's always people that try to bring you back to your bad side and your darkest days.
and usually those people are more. It's like, okay, Gina, so you get called out for being an asshole, and then you're immediately like,
My dark days.
shut up. And you do it again in this episode.
And where's Emily to say, why don't you just lighten up? So Shannon's
Exactly.
like,
I did a snarky response because typically I don't engage. I'm a snarky puppy, and I thought what I'm going to engage. Like I'm gonna engage. I've decided, like David Bador, I'm going to engage to a slut. And so you were making a dig, and like, what style are you going to steal from me? And so I was snarky, and that's that.
And Gina's basically like, this just went too far. This whole thing went too far. Who cares? Like, let's put that to bed. Let's get her for what I'm really here to yell at her about. I still want to scream my children at the top of my lungs. So let's just fast forward to that. So Andy is like,
So Jack from Daniels says, Shannon, you promised to never bring up Gina's DUI again. So why did you? Weird.
Shannon's like,
Well, first of all, I didn't remember that I had done, and I felt awful. I felt terrible. I felt terrible that I didn't remember, because I would have laughed and laughed and laughed for hours the next day. But I had forgotten. I felt terrible.
and Gina's like, oh yeah, she was just drunk and angry at me. Like she's being forgiven, but she just wants to point out how drunk Shannon was, that she was blackout, which is bad. It's like you're saying you're so drunk you couldn't remember. Well, that's, not
this is actually
great.
one of the times I actually believe that on Bravo. Like a lot of times, like people, like Tamra does this all the time.
Oh my God, when I called you a cut fitness last night and a whore and a slut, I was so drunk. What did I even say?
I'm like, okay, nice, get out of jail free card. But I actually do believe that Shannon had no idea she said this. So
I absolutely do not believe it. I think Shannon was so unbelievably ass backwards wrong in this whole thing. And the fact that she even if she didn't, which I'll just extend her that, but I don't believe it. But even if she didn't remember, the fact that she found out and still won't just say, I'm sorry, that's a terrible thing to say.
Ridiculous.
It's like, oh.
No, the reason why I believe that she doesn't remember is because I just don't believe anyone who remembers that they said it and knows they said it on camera, then just said, I never said that, Gina. Like, it was so, like, the denial was so, like, are you serious? I was like, she just must truly not remember. So, Tamra's basic. I'm not vindicating. I'm just saying, like, I really think that she
No, I
blacked
know.
out.
I'm just like, oh, no.
So then Tamra's like, why did you get so mad at Jen for saying it to Gina, like when it was said on camera? And Shannon was like, well, I felt like as soon as you sat down there, Jen, you were like, okay, it's my job to start
to do my job, and like it's my time to stir the pot.
So Shannon says that she was mad at Jen because she felt like Jen was deciding to stir the pot. I'm like, you're friends with Tamra. Tamra, this is Tamra's MO. Why are you not mad at Tamra? This is all that Tamra does.
Yes. And Jen's like, I'm not a pot stirrer. Do you think I'm a pot stirrer, Shannon? Do you? I was like, okay, Jen. All right. So Jen was obviously told she needs to come out swinging.
Excuse me. I have a question. Is this a good time for me to say, oh, I hope she has a spoon in her pocketbook because she likes to stir the pot. Can I say that again?
Gina, did you get an apology from Shannon? She's like, no. And Shannon's like, well, I apologize at the pumpkin patch.
And she goes,
No, you didn't even acknowledge you said it. She goes, well, I just don't remember. And I want to be very clear here. When I made that statement, I wasn't saying that your kids would be put in the system. By the way, I don't remember what I said at all. So this is what I meant when I said what I don't remember. So when I made that statement, I wasn't saying that your kids would be put into the system. I was saying that if you were arrested and there was no adult present, then they would have had to take the children until you got your legal things taken care of. And that being said, I was told by Heather you were discussing my relationship.
oh my God, she's going to go back to, but you were discussing my relationship. I can't.
So Gina's like, I haven't said anything about you. And Shannon's, well, I was told. I was told. She goes, what are my children's names? And Shannon's like,
well, it's Sienna and now I papaya.
Ragu. Those are jarred sauces. Don't just start naming jarred sauce. Prego. Cut it out.
How about, wow, it feels wonderful to put my arms all the way out. Because I feel like I hear them say that whenever they're in my house.
Runner, muddy hands, and drool face.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So Gina started, and Shannon's like, oh, well, of course, now I'm blanking. And Andy's just cringing. And so Gina's like,
never talk about my children again, Shannon.
and then she just starts going off.
I've known you for 6 years. You don't even know my kids' names. Of course I do. There's a Sienna, Sierra, Cielo, Sia, Mia, Rodney. Is there a Rodney in there?
And Deshaun. There's a Deshaun, right?
And then you drop a bomb about CPS that is so inappropriate. You were so out of bounds right there. You were so wrong. And saying anything other than I'm sorry.
Okay,
You know,
Gina's
it's very
a bit
fun-
much, but agreed.
you know, it's so funny because Diane Ruggiero just had her deal picked up by CBS. CBS. Oh, you're talking about CPS. Sorry.
We should all be so lucky to be picked up by CPS. Am I right?
You know, it was a good run on CPS. So Shannon's like, well,
What, was it an unkind thing I said about CPS? Yes. But it was. But you know what? Well, you should never have said it. You're worried about everyone talking about things that you're talking about with your own relationships. And you can make things up about the past, about my children. My children. My children.
My children.
And Shannon's like,
Okay. Well, keep screaming, Gina.
and she goes,
I will, Shannon.
and she's just like letting her have it and just like screaming too loud. Okay, so then we cut. She just keeps
speaking of
screaming,
my children, does anyone mind if I just have to go into the back room there and just do a little on-tape audition for all my children? I'll be right back.
I'm sorry. Actually, I need to go do a cameo to Coco because she has paid to get some advice from me. So I'll be right back. Speaking of my children. So then we got to commercial. And then we get, if someone you know is struggling with alcohol or drug abuse, call 1-800. I start dialing and I'm like, are you watching this? Because you need to get Shannon. She's right on the couch, right there. She's losing her goddamn mind. Somebody help her. Her hair is terrible.
So
Shannon's like, oh, well,
You're
keep
giving me the
screaming,
number
Gina.
4. You're in the room.
Keep screaming, Gina. Keep screaming. She's like, well, I will scream as much as I want because this is not right what you're doing. Okay, that you're doing this. It's not right because this is who you are. You're a woman who gets proven that you did a shitty thing and then you don't lay down and you don't say sorry. It's not okay. And then he's like, yeah, like, what was your reaction, Shannon, when you saw it? And she's like, well, I was horrified. I was absolutely horrified by how few people were at my taco dinner. Could you believe all those people backed out?
I was horrified with how many extra tacos I had.
And Gina's like,
Why didn't you text me?
and Emily's like,
She means after when you knew you said it, you should have texted her.
and Shannon keeps trying this. No, I mean, listen, it was established I knew what I'd said at Tanaka Farms when I apologized. And Gina's like,
This is a chance for you to be a kind person, Shannon. And she's like, oh, well, do you want me to go down the list of kind things I did for you?
and she's like,
Shannon, you gave me a phone number for 4 years ago, and then you've used it as a weapon ever since.
And do you Andy's like, well, do you think you've kind of beaten that phone number thing to death, Shannon? So, well, I have a laundry list of other kind things I've done for her. I did clip out a coupon once for a house that I thought might help her out, but she didn't want that. And plenty of things. I actually, my laundry list really was just like, here, can you do my laundry? I'll pay you. So that was nice, I thought.
I thought she introduced Gina to someone for her business, like someone to help her with Caragala. Wasn't there all of that stuff?
And yeah, she did several nice things, and she was there for Gina.
And see, here's the thing. Like, I think Gina's completely right in all of this. Shannon really does just need to say, listen, that was over the top. I was drunk. I was so mad that day that everybody was ditching my party, including you. Like, you upset me. I was so mad at you, and I just lost it, and I said it, and I shouldn't have said it, and I know that I should. I mean, of course, that's what she should have said, but it's Shannon. And also, Gina really does minimize everything that Shannon does, and she's done it for years, and Shannon wouldn't have to repeat it 9,000 times if Gina wasn't constantly minimizing everything she does. And she even does it here in this one. She's like, oh, so you took me out a few times when I was at my lowest point. Big fucking deal.
But sorry.
No, that's it.
I was just going to say, like, I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to be, you can't just always say, what have you done nice for me? You've never done something nice for me. And then when someone says, I've done a lot of nice things for you, here are the things I did. Why do you always, oh, this is what they do. They lord it over me. Well, it's like, don't lord over the stuff that they haven't done for you if you don't want to be lorded on. Like, if you don't want the stuff they have done for you lorded over you.
Yeah. But overall, yeah, I think Gina still wins this one because Shannon's just like,
what? I don't remember anything.
And so Andy's like, you were upset that people talked about your and John Jansen's relationship. So then you talked about Travis's penis? She's like,
no. No, that was just from 3 years ago. Someone had told me a story, and then I got mad at Gina, so I was, I brought it up.
And Emily's like, well, why would you bring it up now if that was 3 years ago?
Oh my God.
Did you not
3
see the
years
clip?
ago was also when Tamra said you weren't a real fucking lawyer the first time. And you had a fit about it then too. So let's stop pretending that we don't get mad at things from 3 years ago.
Did you see the clip? She wasn't like,
ladies, we all have to sit down and discuss Travis's small penis. She was just like, oh, well, she's talking about me. Well, why don't we talk about her husband's small dick?
It was just like a shady, obnoxious thing to say. Yes, but it was not coming from a place of nasty, like mudslinging.
My children.
So you know what? Instead of coming to me and saying like these horrible things, you chucked my boyfriend under the bus, and you chucked me as a parent under the bus. Remember when I said the thing about like people throwing each other on the bus? It was all for this moment. And you know what else? You were only worried about yourself. It crosses a line, like a serious line. Like it was a very, very serious line that you crossed.
It was a line. I'm sorry, I'm not on script right now. I'm sorry. Were we still talking about acting? I just hear line over and over again.
Do you need your sides?
Emily's like, as far as the CPS comment goes, as a mother, there is nothing more detrimental than you saying someone's kids could go to CPS. That is the lowest of the low.
No, it's not. I mean, no, it's not. Objectively, it's not the worst thing you can say about somebody's kids. Okay? Right. I've said way worse.
There are like literally way worse things that you could say that would get you in jail. Okay.
But it's still bad. But be quiet, Emily. This is not you. And so she's like, just say you fucked up and I was wrong, Shannon. And Gina's like, yeah, 3 years ago we went out and had fun. Big deal. My kids are this close to being on social.
Oh, well, that's about as close as Travis's penis is to being to his jeans. I'm sorry, is this the wrong time?
Oh, your kids are this close to being social? Well, I've got one daughter going to some liberal school in New York City, another getting married to a ox in Texas, and the third one, who even knows where she is? I don't even know her name. See, it's not just your kids. Mine. Who are my children?
Well, I just wish I had named all of my children Sierra as well. I guess that's easy for some of us.
Hell, well, congratulations. We both named our kids after beverages. Sierra Mist and Stella.
So then Gina's like, yeah, my kids are this close to being on social, and you put out mom cops. Oh, you put out that my kids, like with CPS, they were almost taken away, and you don't even know their names. And you know what? This is gonna ruin me. This ruined me. You crossed the line, and I don't even know that I can continue to do this show. That is how much you crossed the line, Shannon.
I'm like, Shannon, could you talk about CPS a few more times, please? Please.
Please. I know finally what we need to get Gina off this show. Just call the kids. I mean, at this point, seriously.
You're on a reality show, and I'm not saying it excuses it, but if you're really concerned about your kids' welfare, you would get the hell off this. You would have gotten off the show a long time. You probably should have gotten off the show after you got into some trouble. Okay. Also your kids are about to be on social media, then they're about to have access to the internet, and they're going to know you got a DUI and we're about to get arrested if this lady hadn't helped you. So, I mean, you can't just erase everything. By the way, you're still correct in this argument. No, she's correct. Shannon should just apologize. But I also feel like, this whole thing about you don't even know my kids' names. So you don't like Shannon. You don't want Shannon to be in your life, but then you're upset that Shannon has not been in your life enough to remember your kids' names. It's like, you can't have it both ways. I'm sorry. You actively pushed Shannon away last season. You're like, I don't want this woman I don't want to socialize with her. I don't want her around. And Shannon's like, I don't remember your kids' names. I don't remember half the children's names that are around me. Not a good case. But either way, I feel like the children's name thing that's like a gotcha thing, but I don't think it actually proves anything at all. However, Shannon still should apologize to Gina because it's the easiest thing to do. She's obviously rattled. She's obviously hurt. And Shannon was wasted when she said it. And it's like Shannon is wrong. Gina
I
is
did
right.
like the part where Shannon said,
But Gina, I don't like you. We don't get along.
I don't like you. Gina, I don't like you. And when I say you, it's like I'm texting you because I know your house can't fit the Y and the O. Okay, I don't like you.
Yeah, it's, this show's so crazy. It's got me rooting for Heather, which has never happened. It's got me even saying sometimes, well, Tamra's kind of right in this argument. It has me saying Gina's right over Shannon. I mean, my God, it really has thrown me for a loop. But hey, I mean, I consider that a pretty good season. If you can still get me riled up over people that I'm usually against.
I think it's a wonderful season. I think the show's really, really back in its in its A game. Really loved it. Can't wait for next week. Next week will be all the John Jansen stuff. It'll be all the Heather stuff. It's going to be a shit show next week on the reunion. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm already bracing myself.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being with us. Another two-parter. Okay, we cannot shut the fuck up during these shows. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll be here next week with Dwell Hello as our Wondery Plus show. And then every other Monday is our Crappy Hour Live, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So join us for that. And, we'll be here every freaking day, as we always are. And we will talk to you tomorrow with some Southern charm.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
She's never scary. It's the Green Fairy.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying. It's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg. Ruru LaRue.
The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. We want to hang with Liz Lang. The incredible edible Matthews sisters. Nancy Cease and Desisto.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She's quite the catch. It's Victoria Cotchett.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.